Okay, so I finally had time this week to get this book off the shelf and start reading it. The name is He, and it's all about the masculine psychology, helping men helping men and women to understand the psychology of man. So I'm only like 10, 15 pages into it, but I just want to share with y'all what I've learned so far. So they talked about a story. They told a story where a man who is wandering off in the forest, super hungry, he stumbled upon an old town. The town was vacant, but there was a fire, and above the fire was a salmon, some kind of fish. It was roasting, and don't forget he's starving. So he went up to it, he grabbed it, he went to take a bite, but it was so hot that he dropped it, and then he had to put his fingers in his mouth to kind of cool off his fingers. So when he put his fingers in his mouth, there was still some remaining fish on his fingers, and he got a taste of the salmon. In this analogy, the salmon represents consciousness. It talks about how through adolescence, or maybe even your early 20s, for some people it's much later, it all depends, but we all get a taste of spirituality or consciousness or the source, God, Allah, Jesus Christ, consciousness, whatever you choose to call it. We all get a taste of that. By the time that we first tasted it, it was too early. For example, when he tested salmon, he dropped it because it hurt. When we first get a test of consciousness, it's way too early. We're not prepared for it, not emotionally, not mentally, not spiritually. We're not prepared for it, so we have to let go. It's like it was unexpected, and we call it like a out of body experience, or like you saw the one that was that crazy. Did this really happen? Like we wasn't prepared for it, so we just drop it. But at the same time, it's like we can never forget that experience. We can never forget the taste of that salmon because it's like it's just an impactful experience that we had, something that was out of this world, something that we don't know how else to describe. We don't know how else to describe it, but like if you have been through it, if you experience that consciousness, then you understand what I mean. Anyhow, so from there it talks about once a man, adolescence, early 20s, 30s, 40s, however old you are, once you taste that, once you experience it, you're too weak to keep it because it's your first time, so you drop it. But you're also too strong to forget about it forever. So it's like you're in this state in between, hey, I want to pursue this because I've never felt anything like this. It's a calling. It's like it calls out to me. But then you're also in this space where I'm scared of this. I don't know what this is. I never experienced anything like this before. Like, what is this? What am I to expect? Like, can I even pursue this again? Like, is that how it works? You don't know. It's something new. It's literally you expanding your consciousness and accepting a deeper consciousness. Like, it's something that's very hard to experience and hard to rationalize. So the human brain tries its best, but it can't really rationalize it. It's literally out of this world. And I won't hop too deep on this, but this is where I'm at right now. So it just talks about consciousness. When we first get in contact with it, why we let it go, and why we have this drive to continue it. The last thing I will say is when it comes to consciousness, we all know consciousness is developed more by healing. Spirituality is all about healing. It's not about, oh, I'm woke, oh, I'm this, I'm that. No, that's fake prophets. It's all about healing. Go inside yourself, doing the shadow work, and finding your inner child and just heal, heal, heal. That's what opens up your consciousness. That's what opens up your heart. That's what makes you more in tune with your energy. That makes you more in control of your energy. That's what makes you more aware. Like it's all about healing. So it talks about after he picked up the salmon and then his hand got burnt, that burn was there forever. Like he could not let go of that burn, that wound, that scar that he received from that contact with consciousness. So we all have that contact with consciousness, and it leaves a wound, it leaves a scar, it leaves some type of pain, some deep hurt within you. It leaves that within you, and they say that you can't ever really escape the pain of that unless you're consciously doing the work. So let's say, for example, I give myself my own life experience as an example, and it's personal, but man, I guess that's what we're here for, right? So I was dating this person all throughout high school, on and off, on and off, And then college is the same thing, but inside college we wasn't really dating. We were more like just situationship, I guess you can call it nowadays. But yeah, um, she ended up getting pregnant, and she told me that I was the father. So I was just trying my best to be a father, you know. And she made that very, very, very difficult for me, very difficult. And then comes to find out I wasn't even the father. So yeah, it was the worst pain, the worst experience, the worst everything I've ever felt in my life. But at the same time, it was that pushed me into that consciousness. It was only then have I truly experienced consciousness. So that wound stays within me. I don't think most people understand, but when you finally get a child, your life has a whole new meaning. And then when you find out that child is in yours, then there's a space within yourself, within your life, where all that meaning just disappear, and it's just like you try to fill that void up in as many ways as you can, but it will stay there forever. Like that void never really closes because it's like, what can replace having a child, having someone that you care about more than yourself, having someone to protect, having someone to love, having someone to nurture, to grow. Like there's nothing that can really replace that. So that will be a wound within me, a pain, a scar, a hurting within me that will never disappear. But the book says in order to escape the pain of that, I have to consciously keep on putting in work to heal. And not just from that experience, but like just in general, because there's much more traumas or experiences that I've been through that hate me. So when I heal that wound, I have to move on to the next, and then to the next, and to the next. And it's only when I'm consciously doing the work that I'm able to escape the pain. If I decide, you know what, I'm not gonna do the work, I'm gonna drink alcohol, I'm gonna play video games, I'm gonna smoke weed, I'm gonna escape, I'm gonna do something to escape, it's not gonna work. I might numb myself. I might have a temporary amnesia of what I've been through, but there will always be that pain inside me, and when I return back to myself, I will be reunited with that pain inside me, unless I consciously put in that work. I don't know what your story is. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what got you in your first contact with consciousness. I don't know what pushed you into the dark night of the soul. I don't know your story. Feel free to share it, but just know that pain that you feel, it's not going anywhere. You're never gonna escape it. Never. You just have to dive in nose first and heal. Just keep on healing. That's the secret. It's only then.